All right. Good evening, all you silver stackers. Thanks for hopping in. Yeah, so today, obviously, we have another little bit of a down. I guess you could say it's a little bit calmer of a day because we're just kind of changing price up and down, up and down, up and down. But we got one more trading day. Started off tonight. It's already started off a little bit down. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure. Like I've read all the headlines that people are saying and this and that, and all the YouTube channels are saying the same message. I just disagree. I disagree with them. I don't think most of this stuff that they talk about on the daily news really has that much effect on the daily price. It's just the price goes. People buy stuff higher, price goes up. People buy stuff lower or sell stuff off lower, and the price goes down. As simple as that. We don't need to make it any more complicated. We see big swings because there's big numbers, a few bucks when it's $15 is a large percentage change, and a few bucks when it's $80 is a very small percentage change. It's just not that big of a deal, right? El Manuel coming in first. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And Mr. Brilliance, thanks for hopping in here. On the turntable you see here, I hope you guys don't get a little too nauseous with the the spinning wheel. This is the lowest setting it's got, but I liked it because I don't have to do so much stuff with my hands on it. But I did pick up 4 new little fractional tiny pieces of gold, as you can see there. And I picked up 4 more commemorative Washington half dollars. I believe that they were a steal. I can show the price, but I think it was total with shipping and everything was $21 a pop, maybe 22 on the high end, like averaged up. But not bad there. And then we got the new Spartan coin right here in the middle. The Spartan Warrior coin, which kind of goes perfectly with the channel theme here, right? So checks all the boxes for me. I like it a lot. Anyway, we pick up these Warrior Series coins. I should have taken it out of the top loader. And then there's the Spartan figure leaping with his spear there. So yeah, pretty cool little coin. I like it. These fractional coins are this one right here is a 1/200th ounce. So really tiny guy. 1/200th of an ounce right here. There you go. Little United States of America action going on there. And there's a Dos Peso, which I think I showed it on a different stream, but this is actually a new coin that I haven't done a video about yet. Come on. It's there somewhere. Anyway, Dos Peso. And then we got a couple of weird things. This Chinese panda is beat to hell. I bought it for like cheap because if you can see it's bent up and stuff, it's like this thing is damaged. But we got this little bent up Chinese panda. These are 1/1000th little wafers, man. Like these little assay wafers. And then this one, the God of War coin coming in here. There he is. Boom. Boom. So not bad. Hypnotic, smart move. You like that? Would you buy junk silver or Eagles? Gunsmoke? It depends on what your goals are. What's up, Mr. Happy Stacker? Thanks for hopping in as well. Today, I'm running this straight through, just injecting the stream straight into YouTube directly. So the live chat may not actually work. And if that's the case, we'll switch back to the other mode tomorrow's stream, or not tomorrow's stream, but on Sunday evening's stream. So bear with me as we have I was trying some new technical stuff out today and testing things, and honestly, I'm not happy with the result. So I will be making some changes there. So we have a question here. Gunsmoke Galvin. Would you buy junk silver or Eagles? Well, it just depends on what you're trying to do right now. The Eagle price, which we can pop it up here. I haven't pulled it up today, but the Eagle price right now is demanding a pretty hefty premium for most of these online bullion dealers. So that alone is kind of steering me away. So right now, the silver spot price that they have listed is $76.97. But if we go to like actual silver spot price, it's closer to $76 even. So you're already getting a little 75-80 cent premium bump just on what they're designating the premium or the spot price to be. Then you go and you look at this for 1 to 10, 1 to 19 Eagles, which most people aren't probably buying 20 Eagles a pop online. I don't know. Maybe you are. but I think that's most people are probably paying $87.95 per eagle, which is $11 over their inflated spot. So, Gunsmoke Galvin, if my play was to only want to buy something that would be highly liquid that I could sell in the next month and recoup some of my money, because I hear that LCSs are paying spot, or even in some cases like $1 or $2 range up or down from spot. So you're already, every eagle you buy, you're losing, you know, $9 a pop. But that's just kind of the way the market is, right? Like if you're buying anything today and you're trying to sell it within a month, if the price doesn't go up drastically, you're probably breaking even or losing money. But that's the same for 90%. For me right now, though, my stacking goals are very, very long term. So I am actually purchasing 90% because I'm getting it for anywhere between 5% to 10% below the spot price. And because of that, I am happier buying the junk silver today, getting it at quote unquote a discount, because I know that I don't need to sell it. If I were having to sell the junk silver, I would be losing more than I would be losing on the Eagles, I think. Even buying it 10% back, I've heard stories of people selling it like 25% back, 20% back. So there's really no like perfect way in terms of like the valuation. If you want something that is highly liquid and will pretty much always be in demand, the American Silver Eagle is the thing for you. It's just not my go-to right now. Now, if silver price drops back, like, let's say silver drops back down to like $50 and I can pick up Eagles for $60 a pop, it seems crazy for me to say this, but at that point, I would probably, buy 100 ounces of them and just sit on them, rain or shine. If silver goes up, great. If it goes down, I might have to pick up some more, right? And I would probably transfer from 90% back to more of that bullion and stuff. But right now, with the premiums, I think there's a lot of greed in the market right now. A lot of people trying to chase a buck and very excited about where things are. And because of that, I'm always a little bit more trepidatious when I'm shopping and spending my money, when everybody else around me, I feel like, is being very greedy. So that's how I'm going. What's going on, Penny Scout? What the heck? Did anyone else get a commercial in the... Really? That is not good. Then we are going to definitely have to stop. See, I even turned everything off. That is not good, man. I don't know how to check that, but I turned monetization off intentionally so that none of that would happen. So we're going to 100% be going back to the old way of me streaming, to where I have full control then. So I apologize if you are still getting that. Let me know if it happens again, Penny, and I will pause them even longer and see if I can make sure that everything's turned off. But I'm sorry about that. Silver needs to correct to $40 so I can stack. Bayron, how long have you been in the stacking game, if you don't mind me asking? It sounds to me like you're just getting started, and you're hoping for you're looking at the charts as a big swing up, and you're looking for a pullback maybe, so that you can get back in. Or are you saying that you want to add more to your stack and you've been just kind of holding steady for a while? But right now, I mean, this doesn't tell us much. We've gone live a few times between this 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour, and I haven't seen anything that like really sets me off, saying that silver is going to just follow exactly what it opens at in the Asian markets. This has already kind of recovered, 0.7 or so percent. So hopefully it would be nice, I think, to just have a green day on the last day of the trading week, even if it's just a buck, like a 0.25%. I would take it, just because 3-4 days down, it's kind of like, it makes people feel bad. Even though there's not a big change in the price, it just makes people feel bad. So if we are looking at the silver price, I do want to do some charting today, because we have been talking about those channels for a while that we've been trading in, and I feel comfortable that we've pretty solidly defined a channel. I should also pull up TradingView, because the precious metals rotisserie, exactly, Happy Stacker, exactly. Oh, you've been stacking since last February, so you want to add more to your stack. Yeah, Bayron, I've talked about it. I'm kind of just picking up gold, because I feel like gold has been stable for a little bit longer than silver. Gold kind of hit that 4,400, 4,300 mark a while back, and it has kind of stuck there pretty solidly. And to me, this chart right here, I don't know. I'm just a little bit more comfortable buying into this kind of a chart than I am comfortable into, buying into the cataclysmic chart that goes like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not that big of a difference, but one has sort of kind of just it calmed down quicker, and I think silver is now looking like it's going to be calming down as well. We'll see what happens. Do you think silver will go under 70? Yeah, I mean, I kind of do. I just don't know the time frame that it'll be under. I do think that it would be reasonable to have a pullback down to that 70 range. If for some reason it broke like to 65, I would be a little worried. Worried in the sense of like I would not be buying at all. I would just be waiting until it kind of like fell as far as it's going to fall and then buy back in. But it's hard. I just right now I am not buying nearly as much as I want to be buying. I'm kind of like Bayron right now. I'm just calm, playing it easy, buying a few ounces here or there. I'm not buying, I was buying like 20, 30 ounces pretty often. And right now I'm just picking up a few bucks here or there, $5 face or something like that. Nothing crazy. And I'm buying little fractional gold because I do feel the same. Like, even though gold has stabilized, I still think that we're at all-time highs, on both metals, theoretically. I know it's not the exact all-time high, but we're in that all-time high range on both metals. And, if the world goes to dust and inflation, we get to hyperinflation in 2 years, and I was wrong and I should have backed the truck up today, I'll live with that. But if things do fall and I backed up the truck, I would probably be more upset with myself for not looking at the very obvious signs of a rapidly, increasing price that looks like it should pull back. Whether it will or not, nobody really knows. But I would be more upset with myself if I bought really heavy at 80 and it collapsed back down to 50. Then I would be upset with myself if I just held firm at, and bought a little bit of stuff at 80 and it went up to 200 even. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. That's the way my mind works. Silver will rule the room all. Rise of the silver. Brilliance. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about how they think that, silver is going to, basically overcome gold as that kind of, monetary commodity with all of its industrial needs and everything like that. We'll see what happens. But gold has stood the test of time against a lot of oncomers, and it's still kicking and standing strong. So I don't know. Paper may easily fall, but physical may break the model. That's true, Barry. But unfortunately, I don't think that we're gonna get past the fact that the paper is what drives that spot price, and I don't think that's gonna change within a time period that like we're gonna be around to notice it. It is what it is. They do keep printing. Need gold to get to 50-1 ratio so I can get the first eagle. Oh, sweet, Bayroon. Sounds like you're going to trade some silver for gold. I did that at 68 or so to 1, which the gold to silver ratio is what we're talking about if you don't know. We can look at that. I've got some other charts because I want to talk about oil. I think oil is in an interesting spot. But yeah, so right now we're at 58.30. We've kind of, again, just like the price of silver stabilizing, the GSR obviously is stabilizing as well because nothing's really moving up. It's just kind of going up and down. Sorry, weird sound. They just keeps going up and down, so we'll see what happens. But long term I'm a believer in all metals. I mean, I've even pulled up the price of copper because I've been monitoring that, and it looks like, it says it's down 1 penny or whatever this is, but copper is actually kind of rebounding over the last little bit of downtrend here. So we were looking at this on copper, how we always have these like pullbacks. Every time we get a little run up, we get this pretty large like pullback. This one's not too big. This one's only like 5%, but I feel like we've had that pullback in copper now. So I'm actually looking at getting into some copper ETFs and things right now at this price point. It could go a little lower. I'm not too worried about it, but I do think long term, in the next month or two, copper's going to continue to rise up. That we tested some lows here, and that we're on like the forward momentum again. But we'll see. Again, it's Friday. It's a weird time of the year. Oh wait, let me zoom back in. And we're already kind of like rebounding again from these little dips, and each one kind of like checks back up a little higher. So I'm okay with that. Controlled Demolition of the States. Another book. We got a lot of book recommendations out there. Hyperinflation doesn't back up. Yeah, well, we're not gonna. Hyperinflation is a word that I think is a little bit loosely used these days, right? Because hyperinflation is just like this uncontrollable train wreck of prices changing almost daily, to where, like, you go out, like, we all know the Weimar Germany kind of idea of a loaf of bread one day, and then the next day the price doubles, the next day it's up 10x. Like, I don't see us really ever getting to that point in the USA. We have too many levers and too much global power, and being a global reserve currency, like, we have a lot of things that I think protect us from the hyperinflation, but we are susceptible to just straight up inflation. And our fiat currency is designed for inflation. So that is something that we need to figure out and fix. So, but fix, I guess, is not something that they're going to ever really plan to do. We'll see what happens. Still, like, trying to check my settings to find out what's going on, because I'm not happy at all with YouTube Studio Live right now, is what I am kind of irritated with. I'm trying to figure out why somebody said they got ads. I don't like that. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I need you guys to be my vocal commentary. If stuff sucks about the stream, there's issues, you gotta tell me right away, and I will try to do everything I can to fix it. But I can tell you right now, I am going to go back to my third-party software for streaming, because I don't even have the live chat working. I don't have anything working. I'm not happy with the stream. The stream quality is irritating me. All right, back to silver prices, because I wanted to do this. We've been looking at these channels. Oh, what the heck were we talking about here? It's always fun to turn back on my lines and stuff, and just be like, what chart were we looking at? What was this doing? All right. Green for go, right? Green for go. And this is where we were kind of looking as this break-even point for support. We're not even there yet. So somebody was asking, do I think it'll go below 70? I don't really think so. I think, if anything, we might have a couple more down days where we bounce back off this 72 level. That's what I'd like to see. I don't want to see us go below that, because then we start to, in a way, like, I mean, we might be getting to the point where not really a head and shoulders kind of pattern yet, but we don't want to form a head and shoulder and break out on the downside, right? And then right now we've been having, I'm not going to do red because red's a little too aggressive for what I'm trying to say here, but we have had pretty much consistently, I know nobody, like, we want to go to 80 and stuff, but really, if you think about it, around this level has been a lot of pressure and resistance on silver. So really, I think we're kind of trading in like that 77 to 72, 71.85 range, and that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay for us to have some sideways movement for a period of a couple weeks. That happened. That happened for so many years in the past that we used to think that it was normal to try to trend sideways for years. But we've seen, like, a lot of people have joined only on these massive uptrends, and so we get used to now breaking new all-time highs every couple of weeks. And I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay with this. I would like us to stay in this channel for a while. But ultimately, what I want to see as like a bullish sort of indicator would be that we end up going, we end up breaking out at some point over here, right? We break out, we test the new all-time high, and what we really want to see is that, which didn't happen here and it didn't happen here, is we'd like to see us test this mark at like 77, 78, and then bounce back off of it and try to find a new all-time high. That's where we want to get to. Mary Short, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate you very much. That's where we want to get to. And then ideally, we would come back down, or maybe we wouldn't go that low. How do let me Control Z this and back this up? Oh, I can't. Back back a couple lines up. Not even, I don't want to even go that far. And then really what we'd like to see is a new test, right? Where we bounce off of the new sort of support level. And that's what we want to see for growth. And then maybe we trade into a channel again here, right? That's what I'd like to see for a healthy chart. And we are getting into that point. The other thing that could happen that we do have to be aware of, and this I'm going red. I guess this is more like pink for some reason, but the other thing we do have to be aware of is that it could very well, it's possible that it does this. And I'm worried that if it does this, it's going to test and then it's going to do this. And it's going to go down hard. So we are watching this. We do not want to see a few days where we get this kind of a pattern at all. That would be that would be the uh-oh, guys, buckle up, grab your girders. And we're going for a wild ride. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. So that's what I'm looking at. And again, as long as we're inside this channel, I feel like we're comfortable. This is where, I mean, I know some of you guys are waiting for 50 to 1. Some of you guys are waiting for 15 to 1 GSR. Really, I think just evaluate what you're buying and why. Because if you're buying for a long-term, you know, inflation hedge or savings account, or you know, maybe you've got a ton of money in the stock market, and you know you're using this as kind of like a safety net in case the market crashes because of something, and then maybe gold and silver will support that crash and not crash as hard or something like that. There's a lot of reasons why if you're stacking, and I think that a lot of us, we probably need to understand it, or not understand, but we need to make sure that our motivation for stacking hasn't just changed completely because the chart looks so different these days, right? Like, it looks like this now. Did this year completely change why you're stacking and how you're stacking? You know, how much money you're putting in, or your excitement level, or your attention to the price changes constantly, right? If you're feeling an emotional shift in your stack, it might be a minute worth doing is taking some time to separate out your deep stack from your quote unquote, you know, transactional stack, the stack that you have to trade for gold or platinum, or the stack that you might want to, you know, sell some, get some cash for it and buy, you know, whatever, something else outside of metals, or invest it, whatever you're doing with it. You do need to look at your reasoning for your stack and decide to yourself, like, just be honest with yourself. Has it changed because the chart did that? You know what I mean? And it's okay to admit, like, hey, I'm acting differently because the chart has been so exciting and I've earned so much, you know, unrealized gains on this precious metal that it can make you emotionally more attached to, you know, it being profitable. Whereas if you didn't do that, right? Like if it had been flatlined down here at 30 for another year, again, what would we be doing differently? I know I would probably be stacking more silver bullion than I am today, because I'm stacking 90% because it is so expensive and I want something that's a little bit lower than spot. So I'm stacking 90%. I'd probably be still stacking bullion again if it was down here. So we just have to be honest with us and with ourselves, and you know, just determine why we're stacking at all. You sold some 50-cent pieces yesterday, winning. Nice, Magic Moon. Nice. I can see holidays in the future. Earth produces 15 to 1 silver to gold. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Brilliance, but man doesn't always follow the laws of nature, you know? And unfortunately, we live in a man-created system of wealth, and a man-created market, and a man-created idiocy for decision-making and stuff. So, although I understand what you're saying with the pull out of the ground ratio, it may not come out to be what we end up doing, you know, in the real world, you know. So we just gotta, again, we're just paying attention. We're just watching it like everybody else and trying to determine, you know, what is the best course for our future. So I don't know. You guys probably know me by now. I'm okay with stabilization and calmness. I don't need to see ATHs every time I open my eyes or I open my laptop. This is good for me. Copper looks like we are, again, like we just talked about, we are seeing the metals sort of rebound here. Let's see what gold's doing. Is it still under? Gold's still a tad under, but we opened down about 1.5% early, and we've already sort of started seeing a little bit of rebound. Let's hope that this holds, and I would be nice to just see one small little green day on the chart, and it can stay within that channel, and we can end the week, not having to worry about everything plummeting right before the weekend. This was, I don't think this was the good article. Nah, this article kind of sucked. Let's see if I can find a good article. But we can skip over that. We can skip over that for now. What I wanted to talk about really was we're talking about inflation, right? Laws, land, air, water, space, laws, legal is policy. We were talking about inflation, and I find it funny is that, like, of all the things that can be involved with inflation, you would think, barrels of crude oil, which is another kind of limited resource. Like, yes, I know more gets produced over time, but in reality, it's kind of a limited resource, right? It's a resource that is in demand and is required for dang near everything that happens on this earth anymore. And yet, for some odd reason, we explain that gold and silver are going up because of inflation and other factors, but yet oil has been going down for the last 2 years. And it just seems odd to me that oil is trading inverse to inflation. And so this is the gold prices to oil prices historical chart. So it's just basically showing, what gold's been doing since 2016 and what oil's been doing since 2016. This little like divot that you're seeing right here on the screen, this is I believe this is the whatever, when all the government employees were furloughed and reporting didn't get done. So just ignore that anomaly. That, like, it's not saying that everything went to zero. It's just an anomaly because there was no data to report. But anyway, you can see we had our spike here, 2022? May 2022, we had our spike in oil prices after coming off the COVID lows of 1923. I know a lot of people that became extremely, extremely wealthy, realizing that oil shouldn't be this low per barrel and purchasing futures and making tons of money. I mean, tons of money in those 2 years right there. And we're kind of going back down. So this is the gold. This is just, again, chart showing what both of these commodities are doing. This is the gold, oil versus the S&P 500, okay? And if we go even further back, let's go all years. All years. I want you to look at this. So if I go all the way back to like 1987, right? This is the rate of change theory for oil and the S&P 500. And you can see like oil pretty consistently hung out above the rate of change of the S&P 500. And then 2020, COVID hits and oil gets completely tanked, which we kind of just talked about. And so that was like the explanation of why this inverted, right? This chart flipped. But then look, it recovered. And now, again, ignore the anomaly here. But now what I find interesting is that oil, you would think if all things were normalized, you would imagine that oil would be trending at the very least close to the rate of change for the S&P 500, right? Not moving in inverse to the S&P 500, because inflation, we know inflation has been pretty rampant over the last 4 years, yet oil has defied those laws of nature with that. Natural laws are the only laws, and as corporate man-made policy fails, silver goes up. Remember I said that, so I can say, I told you, hey, man, I would love it. Brilliance, if you can come back, and if you come back and you tell me, hey, brother, silver's $2,000 an ounce, gold's $4,000 an ounce, and you know what, I would be happy. I would be happy to say you were right, I was wrong. You know what I mean? No problems at all right there. Gunsmoke, would gold need to go to 55,000 for silver to hit $100 an ounce? I don't know that gold and silver are, I don't know that they're connected right now. It doesn't feel like they are. It feels like silver is just simply being traded at just a much higher volume than gold in terms of the number of contracts just being traded, bought and sold, bought and sold, bought and sold. And I don't know. I mean, obviously silver has an industrial demand. it seems kind of like that was unlocked in the early 2000s. I don't have the chart for gold to silver. I mean, I have this chart, but this isn't really what we're wanting to talk about. Da, da, da. I don't know if I have a good chart up to do that, but I don't think so. I think that silver could hit $100 without gold in theory going up to 5,000. I do think gold is on its way to 5,000 over the next 6 months, and I do think that silver is on its way to 100 over the next 6 months. I do think though that gold, I think gold is probably going to get there in a chart very similar to what we saw here, you know, like with the just the slow and steady tortoise going up. Oh, that's brilliant. That's really good. Thanks for that chart right there, buddy. I think that gold is going to continue to sort of just do this slow, methodical, a couple percentage points a week until it gets there. I think silver is going to look like it's playing basketball or something, and it's going to just go crazy, up and down, and it's going to have these larger swings, you know, these larger 10% swings, 12% swings. But I think it'll eventually get there. Wholesome One, what's up, buddy? Thanks for the 925 commemorative tip on $1,000 stream yesterday. I found some for 8% under spot. I told you, Wholesome. I'm glad you went out there and found some deals and raked it in, buddy. I don't like. I tell people exactly what I'm doing. In fact, like, look at this, Wholesome. Look what you see on the rotunda here when it comes around. I actually have 4 of them on the screen right here. I've got a proof and 3 uncirculateds right there that I've been picking up too, that I got for, like, I think, let's just say it's 22 or less per piece. And, you know, when silver's at like $80, these things are running like closer to $29 a piece, right? So yeah, pretty good pickups. I'm glad you found some. I'm glad you listened to the advice, you know. Not everybody does, and not everybody takes action, so I'm glad you found some good deals. It pays to pay attention. Yeah, I drop a lot more information on longer live streams than I drop on videos, simply because I know that less people are going to care to watch a live stream. So therefore, like, you know, like, it feels almost more like it's almost like the cigar lounge or something. We can all just sit back and chat and be a little bit more real and authentic with each other. And then the videos are more like the videos are more like the mass media has to have like a pretty structured message that doesn't rock the boat too much, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm glad you got some good deals out there, man. Appreciate you reporting in. Yeah. Anyway, back over to crude oil. Am I the only one? Serious question. Am I the only one that has been looking at what oil's been doing and thinking to myself that, like, this isn't right? Some force is acting on oil, and, like, I know for a fact, like, it's been mentioned that you know, the administration right now is intentionally trying to keep oil prices suppressed to help reduce the rate of inflation that's happening in the country, along with reducing interest rates, which increases it, right? So it's kind of like a balancing power there. But I mean, there's, in my mind, nothing's going to stop inflation next year, because if you look at that quantitative easing chart that the Federal Reserve is doing in terms of, like, quantity of treasuries purchased and things like that, they've purchased like 100 billion or something in January, or the end of December and January, since they, quote unquote, reduced quantitative tightening. They instantly started purchasing things. The Fed started purchasing things. So that is going to cause inflation. Reduced interest rates is going to cause, you know, improved purchasing power by people and lending rates. And that's going to increase inflation, and price is going to increase. So I don't know how they're going to combat this. And the fact that oil continues to just go in a downward trend makes me think that at some point oil is going to have to revert to the mean here. And I don't know. I just keep looking at these charts and I'm like, man, something isn't adding up to me. And anyway, so here's the gold to oil ratio. Again, just another example is if you see that, oh, I'm not on the right screen. I did it again. Switch. I just completely ruined my whole topic that I was talking to y'all about. But yeah, this was the inversion that I was talking about just now, like how they're completely trading, right? They're completely trading opposite of what they, in theory, should be doing. based on everything. I just bought a 10-ounce bar today for $800. Solo tip. All right, man. Yeah, hold on to that thing. Cherish it. Christians love. What's up? Miners are looking good. Miners are looking good, but they have even more growth than silver has had. So I don't. I own some mining stocks. I can't say which ones because it's kind of a conflict of interest for me to say it. But I do own some mining stocks, and they have done really well. Just in like a few months, they get up like 50%. But really, what I've been doing lately is trading mining stocks by just buying call options on days that they take a big dip. And then I buy options on those days, and then I just wait until it runs up a few dollars a share, and then I sell them, right? So I'm just kind of trading in and out of them for fun. But yeah, watch oil too. It's crazy. It's staying low. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Novice prep is it's staying low because it's being manipulated in like intentionally, not like some mad bankers doing something. They're just holding the price down. Look at these. See these gray marks here? These gray marks are recessions essentially, right? So you go to 2022 COVID, right? And this is the gold to oil ratio chart. Just remember gold to oil ratio. And we talked about this during COVID. The COVID oil prices were here. They dropped significantly low, and then they rebounded after that. Oh my gosh, commerce is going to be dead for years and years and years. It ended up only being like 6 months, and then everything's kind of caught back up, and then it kind of went back to normal. Well, the gold to oil ratio during that period of time, let me go to 10 years to be a little easier. You can see it a little bit more clearly. Was at a 90-to-1 gold to oil ratio. And now look where we're at again. We're at a 79-80 gold to oil ratio. So how high does this go before oil starts to, in my opinion, come back up to that 60, 70, $80 a barrel range, $90 a barrel range, and catch back up? I don't think gold is going to come down to bring it tighter. I think that oil is going to have to come back up and catch back up. So this is what I've been looking at. I've been looking a lot at, oil lately and talking about oil a lot lately because it's just, we know for a fact that this is an inflation tool that they're leveraging right now by keeping the price down. In fact, I'm even hearing, I don't have a source for this, so you can just take it as hearsay. But I heard from somewhere, somehow, that Trump administration basically reached out to the U.S. oil companies and said, hey, we know that you guys have been dealing with the lower oil prices for a couple years now. If you go into Venezuela essentially and help us rebuild that, like, you will essentially be rewarded for your patience with us while the oil price has been held down. So again, that complete hearsay, spoof, whatever, you can say whatever you want, or look into it yourself. But the idea is that, like, this was an intentional suppression. So how long will this last? I don't know, 2, 3, 1 more year, who knows? Wars have a tendency to drive oil prices up. If like a real war where not just seizing a tanker here or there, but like actually blocking straits and having access be completely cut off, or destruction of refineries on oil producing lands and things like that. So that kind of stuff can drive the price up quickly. But we'll see. I mean, overall, though, I think the price of barrels of oil is gonna just go back up into this like $75, $80 range, and that will bring the gold to oil ratio kind of closer to in line, because I don't see gold coming down. I just found all these charts to be very interesting. Hopefully, you got something from those two charts. I think that we always need to pay attention to as many assets that are out there that when we see anomalies happening in charts, you see anomalies happening, you should really question as to like why that is happening. You get what I'm saying? Like, question why, question who does it serve, and then think about what would be the future state look like if things were to change. And then that's kind of the way I play my more trading speculative bets with my money. You have that core deep stack that you probably have in like precious metals, or you might have it in a 401k or whatever, a pension plan, whatever you've got. That's that stack that you don't put a lot of risk at, you don't go crazy with. And then you have that bit of money that you you kind of have a little bit of fun with it. It's not gambling, but you just kind of like, you take a little bit more risk. You just have a little bit more potential return for the amount of risk that you're taking on there. So that's something to look at. Today is going to be a short one. I'm a little bit, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit frustrated with the live stream chat not flowing properly on my monitor, because I tried out direct to YouTube, and I normally use something called Restream, which is like a service that I have to post this to YouTube. So I'm going to work on that and fix that. But yeah, let's see what AI thinks that we're going to do. I mean, I think today I am, yeah, charts up. There it is. I'm still bullish on both gold and silver. Obviously, if you saw earlier, I bought gold and silver this week. I've got a few more ounces coming in, but I'm not buying like I'm used to, man. I'm buying under 10 ounces a month, which to me is very, very light for what I was purchasing. So we'll keep monitoring. If I do see a breakout, like, I will go back. If I see that GSR ratio shrink to 50, I'll do kind of like what you guys were talking about. I will essentially move some of my bullion generic silver into, a couple ounces of gold. And that will be fun. I ultimately, my end goal for my deep stack that I want to get to is heavy in gold. And with silver's run up like this, I am playing it a little bit looser. I am changing a little bit of my strategy with my stack because the price changed like that. So, slow down my buying also over 105. Oh, you're in Canada. Yeah, Christian, that's right. Yeah, Canadian prices are tough. The UK prices are tough. The Japanese prices are tough. The Chinese prices are tough. Man, I've heard it. I've watched all the videos and read all the articles. It's tough out there for silver stackers. It's a wallet pinch, man, and you got to save up a few more months to get something that you really want when you used to be able to get it, in a couple of weeks. So it's just tough. That's a solid strat. It's nice to have a deep stack to lean back on. Yeah, exactly, wholesome one. All right, so let's look. I did ask AI to break down its analysis here. And this is what AI is predicting on tomorrow's end of day. Let me zoom in. That was way too small. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, if you're keeping tabs on our AI intelligence here, I didn't even think about Australia either. You're right. If you're keeping tabs on our AI intelligence, he is 0 for 3 on predictions. Okay, 0 for 3. Not saying that anybody else or I could do better. I'm just saying. He is 0 for 3. Our guy is saying that tomorrow, close of day, close of week, is going to end up at gold at 44.75. So where are we at right now? 44.72. So he's looking at pretty much a flat day plus what? No, not even plus, just like a millimeter lower than what is current pricing. And then he's thinking 76.50. So if I go to silver price, he thinks we're going to come down 60 cents. Of where we're at right now. So I don't know. XAI doesn't seem to be the best market analysis, but we're going to give it a shot. We're on 4 days in. We are 0-3. We'll see what tomorrow brings. But ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for the short stream. I will try to gather some more articles and stuff, and I'm going to reset my stream technicals to be direct through Restream and not to YouTube anymore. I am not sad. You can't see the chat on the top right. It's driving me nuts. It's like a big black screen of nothing. Anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. There's a lot of other live streams on this evening from what I saw. Like International Stacker was at the Fun Show. You've got Thousand Air Radio popping up on the live as well. So there's a lot going on. You guys rock. Thanks for checking in with me. And I will get everything re-squared away to come back at you on Sunday evening. We can kick off our week and get back into it. So thanks so much. I'll see you guys later on.